Remember this, after 40 is not about chasing time, it's about mastering it. At 25, I thought I had it all figured out. Lift heavy, eat clean, outwork everyone, and for a while it worked. I was stronger than most guys in the gym, I looked the part, I had energy to burn, but then I hit 40 and reality hit me harder than any set of deadlifts ever could. If you're watching this right now, maybe you're feeling it too. You train, you eat well, you try to stay disciplined, but your body just responds the same way anymore. You wake up more tired than you went to bed, the soreness lasts 3 days instead of 1, your strength numbers barely move or they even go backwards. And the worst part, you start wondering if it's worth it anymore. When I crossed that line into my 40s, I thought I could just keep pushing the way I always had. Same training, same dieting, same all-out mentality. I didn't realize my hormones weren't the same, my recovery wasn't the same, life wasn't the same. I wasn't a single guy in these 20s anymore. I had a family, a business, responsibilities, stress I didn't have before. And that stress, it shows up in your body whether you want it or not. Here's the truth. Most of what you learned about fitness in your 20s is either incomplete or completely wrong for you now. The industry sells this fantasy that you can look, train, and feel like you did at 25 just by working harder or being more disciplined. But that's a lie. If you try to run the same playbook you used at 25, you will burn out and you will get injured. You will waste years wondering what's wrong with you. Fitness after 40 is a different game. The rules have changed, but nobody bothered to tell you. Your body is different, your recovery capacity is different, your hormone profile is different. And unless you adapt to those changes, you will keep losing ground year after year. That's why I'm making this video, because I wish someone had sat me down at 40 and said, here's what's going to happen, here's how your expectations will crash into reality, and here's how you fight back. Today, I'm gonna give you that conversation, the truth, the adjustments you need to make, and the mindset shift that separates the men who keep getting better from the ones who slowly fade away. I've lived both sides of this. I've been on a bodybuilding stage, shredded to the bones, and I've also been in a hospital bed, unable to even roll over because of a spinal infection. I know what it's like to feel unstoppable, and I know what it's like to feel broken. And I can tell you, the second one will teach you more about yourself than any trophy ever will. So if you're tired of the Instagram filters, the BS advice for 20 years olds, and the false hope that you can just push through, stay with me. Over the next minutes, I'm going to break down the biggest difference between expectation and reality after 40 and show you exactly how to adapt your training, your nutrition, and your mindset to not just survive after 40, but to dominate. So let's start with the biggest myth of all, the idea that you just need to work harder. For most of my life, my solution to any problem in the gym was simple: work harder. Plateau, add more sets. Fat gain, cut more calories. Weak lift, train it twice a week. And for years, that worked. But here's the reality after 40. Just work harder is the fastest way to burn yourself into the ground. At 28, I could train 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day, heavy squats on Monday, heavy deadlifts on Tuesday, arms on Wednesday, and still be fresh for chest on Thursday. I'd smash 20 sets for legs and be ready to go again in 48 hours. At 43, if I try that, my knees ache for a week, my back tightens up, and my energy tanks so hard I can't even think straight in the morning. It's not because I'm weak, it's not because I've lost discipline, it's because recovery is no longer a given. Here's what nobody told you. After 40, your body's ability to repair muscle tissue, balance hormones, and recover from training is slower. Testosterone drops, growth hormone production drops, inflammation markers go up, which means Every extra set, every extra workout you pile on without a plan doesn't build you up, it breaks you down. And the older you get, the smaller the margin for error. I learned this the hard way. I tried to run the same prep cycle I used in my early 30s for a photo shoot in my 40s, same high volume training, same low calorie grind, same zero rest mentality. And by week 4, my lifts were dropping, my sleep was destroyed, and my mood was a mess. And here's the worst part, even though I was suffering, my body wasn't changing the way it used to. Because I wasn't under training, I was overstressing. Working harder is not the problem, working smarter is the solution. The goal after 40 is not to see how much you can take. It's to give your body the exact stimulus it needs to grow without tipping over into a recovery deficit. And that requires something most guys hate to do. Take a step back, drop the ego, and admit that the way you trained at 25 is no longer the smartest way to train now. When you understand that, you stop asking how much can I handle, and you start asking what's the minimum effective dose that keeps me progressing. And that's where the real transformation starts. Because the next trap most guys fall into isn't about how hard they work in the gym, it's about what happens when they're not in the gym. Let's talk about the recovery trap. After 40, your biggest enemy isn't laziness. It's thinking that you can keep pushing without giving your body the time it actually needs to recover. Let me tell you what woke me up to this. Back in 2017, I had just come off years of competition. I was used to pain. I was used to pushing through it. Then I had surgery for a herniated disc. Simple enough, right? You recover, you get back to training, except I caught a hospital infection, a spondylodiscitis. And for 3 months, I was stuck in a hospital bed, couldn't get up, couldn't roll over, couldn't even sit up without help. The doctors told me it might take a year to walk again, or you might never walk normally at all. When you've been an athlete your whole life, hearing that is like being punched in the soul. All I wanted to do was train, to get back to my normal, to push through. But the reality was my body wasn't asking for more work, it was begging for time. That's when I realized recovery isn't a luxury. Recovery is training. Most men over 40 never learn that lesson until it's too late. They don't have to get an infection like I did, but they ignore the signs. Always sore, energy in the gutter, sleep that doesn't refresh you, training numbers stuck for months. And instead of adjusting, they double down and dig the hole deeper. Today, I still train hard, but I program recovery as aggressively as I program my lifts. I rotate heavy and light weeks. I train mobility as if it were a main lift. I block out sleep like it's a meeting with my future self. Because I've lived the reality. If you skip recovery now, you'll be forced to take it later, and it won't be on your terms. And once you accept that, recovery is part of the game. The next question is, what are you giving your body to help it rebuild? And that's where most guys over 40 are still eating like they did at 25 and wondering why nothing changes. Let's talk about how your nutrition has to evolve if you actually want results after 40. Your diet at 25 could be killing your results at 43. I'm not saying it's bad food, I'm saying it's the wrong strategy for the man you are now. When I was younger, my nutrition was simple. Chicken, rice, broccoli, 6 meals a day, 0 cheat meal or once in a while. And sure, it worked. I got shredded, I stepped on stage, I had veins everywhere. But here's what you don't see on those stage photos. My hormones were on the floor. I had no sex drive. My sleep was wrecked. And I was constantly fatigued. Why? Because I was underfeeding my body for months and overtraining at the same time. And after 40, your body is less forgiving. Your testosterone is already lower than it was at 25. Your recovery is slower, your stress levels are higher. So when you combine low-calorie, low-fat diets with intense training, you're not just burning fat, you're burning muscle, you're burning energy, and you're killing your hormones in the process. So here's what I do now. Protein first. Every meal starts with a high quality protein source. Healthy fats daily. omega-3, avocados, olive oil, fats that support hormone production. Carb cycling, higher carbs on training day, lower on rest days. Micronutrients, not just macros, greens, berries, and real food to fight inflammation. And the big one, I don't starve myself anymore. I create a moderate deficit when I cut, and I give my body enough to actually recover from my training. Let me bust a few myths for you. Cutting all carbs will not magically burn fat after 40. It will tank your performance. Eating 6 times a day isn't mandatory, but hitting your protein goal is. Low-fat diets are a testosterone killer, especially if you're already on the low side hormonally. Nutrition after 40 isn't about eating less, it's about eating smarter, eating for performance, and eating to keep your hormones firing. And that brings me to the most important shift I made, one that changed not just my body, but my whole approach to training and life. Moving from an ego-driven mindset to a legacy-driven mindset. If you're still training at 40 just to look good for summer, you're already lost. Because after 40, it's not about ego anymore, it's about legacy. I get it, I've been there. In my 20s, my training was all about size, strength, abs, vein, the image. Every rep was about proving something to other people or to myself. And I'm not saying that's wrong when you're young, but if that's your only motivation after 40, it's not going to last, because there will always be someone younger, leaner, stronger. And if your self-worth is built on beating them, one day you'll feel empty. Here's what changes. You start thinking long-term. You start think about your kids or the people who look up to you. You think about whether you'll be the strong, healthy, active man at 60 or the guy who can't play with his grandkids because his back and knees are gone. You stop asking, how do I look this month? And you start asking, what will my life look like in 20 years? I'll give you my real why, my son Nolan. I don't just train to have a better chest or bigger arms anymore. I train so I can throw him in the air when he's 10, so I can run with him on the beach when he's a teenager. I train so that when he's old enough to understand, he knows his father didn't quit on himself. Because the truth is, our kids aren't listening to what we say, they're watching what we do. And when you shift from ego to legacy, everything changes. You stop chasing trends and start building habits that last. You value mobility and joint health as much as muscle size. You program recovery because you want to be in the game for decades. And ironically, when you train for legacy, the aesthetic results still come, but without destroying your body in the process. But there's one more thing that can sabotage even the best mindset, the smartest training plan, and the cleanest nutrition. And it's the constant comparison to a fake reality. That's what I call the social media illusion. And if you don't break from it, you'll never be satisfied. Social media is lying to you. The physiques you compare yourself to, the lifestyles you envy, the natural transformation that look like they happened in 8 weeks, 90% of it is fake, filtered, or enhanced. Let me be real with you. I've been in this game for decades. I've competed with, trained with, worked with the biggest name in fitness. And here's what they don't show you. Lighting so perfect it hides every flaw. Pumped muscles right after a workout so they look 20% bigger. Photos taken at peak condition then recycled for months. Filters, edits, and in many cases, performance-enhancing drugs. And the worst part, even the guys you think are real often aren't showing you the whole truth. At 40 plus, this illusion is even more dangerous because you're comparing your body with a career, a family, real-life responsibilities to someone who lives in the gym, eats like a monk, and maybe takes more substance than they admit. It's like comparing your driving to a Formula 1 racer but blaming yourself for not winning the race. When I was chasing my pro card, I lived in that illusion too. I thought that if I didn't look like the most shredded guy on Instagram, I wasn't enough. But what I didn't realize is that half the time, those physiques are unsustainable. Even have had my Instagram body, but I couldn't live there because staying at 5% body fat year round, that's not health, that's torture. So here's what I need you to understand. Stop comparing your chapter 10 to someone's highlight reel. Build a body that serves your life, not one that destroys it. Use social media for inspiration, not validation. And remember, the guys who last in this game aren't the ones who burn brightest for a season. There's the one who stay in the fight for decades. When you stop living in the illusion, you free up energy. Energy you can put into building your best body, your best life, without the poison of comparison. And that's where the real progress happens. In the next part, I'm going to give you the blueprint for building a physique after 40 that's powerful, aesthetic, and sustainable without destroying your health. And I'm talking from experience because I've been on both sides. You've heard the myths, you've seen the Instagram illusions, now it's time for the truth. After 40, building your best body isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently for years. This is the exact blueprint I've used on myself and with thousands of men all over the world to stay strong, lean, and powerful long after the so-called prime years. When you're 20, you can train like a maniac, sleep 4 hours, eat garbage and still recover. At 40 plus, recovery is the limiting factor. That means your training has to be smarter, not softer. Prioritize compound lifts, squat, presses, pull-ups, rows. Those move, hit multiple muscle groups and trigger the most anabolic response. Controlled progression. Forget ego lifting, master perfect form and increase the weight or reps slowly over time. Lower volume, higher intensity. 4 to 6K exercises per workout but executed with intent and focus. Corrective work. Core, stability, mobility, posture. This keeps you in the game for decades, not months. The goal isn't to kill yourself in the gym, it's to dominate in the gym and still have energy for life. After 40, nutrition isn't just fuel, it's a weapon. Protein first, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, non-negotiable if you want to build or keep muscle. Controlled calories, in a bulk plus 300 to max 500 calories, in a cut minus 300 to 500 calories. Extremes kill results. Quality over quantity. Lean meats, fish, eggs, vegetables, fruits, healthy fats. Smart timing, get protein and carbs pre and post workout for performance and recovery. And yes, keep planned cheat meals, because if your diet doesn't fit your real life, you won't stick to it. Here's the real secret after 40. It's not training, it's recovery. Sleep 7 to 9 hours. Consistent schedule, cool and dark room. Stress management, meditation, deep breathing, walking. Chronic stress destroys your hormones. Active recovery, stretching, mobility, light activity on off days. And of course, regular checkups, blood work, hormone panels, preventive care, because a body that doesn't recover will eventually break. At 40 plus, your hormones are either your best ally or your worst enemy. Optimize naturally first. Sleep, nutrition, training, stress control. Strategic supplementation, vitamin D, omega-3, zinc, magnesium, creatine, and if needed, get a full medical evaluation and if appropriate, consider doctor-supervised TRT. But remember, no hormone protocol will fix lazy discipline. This plan isn't a 30-day challenge, it's a lifelong mission. The truth, 90% of your results will come from consistency, not from miracle programs, not from some magic pills, from doing the work day after day for years. That's the blueprint, clear, simple, proven. You want your best body after 40, you build it brick by brick. And if you want me to guide you step by step to save you years of wasted effort, that's exactly what we do inside my Rebuild 40 program and on my app Metamorphics. But whether you do it with me or on your own, do it, because every year you wait, you're paying the price in strength, in health, in confidence. Before we wrap this up, I want you to imagine one thing. You, 10 years from now, looking back, did you settle for less because you believed it was too late? Or did you rise, fight, and prove to yourself that this second half of your life could be your prime? Listen, no one's coming to save you. No trainer, no magic pill, not even me. You're either going to step up or you're going to fade away. After 40, every year you wait makes it harder. Muscle loss, slower metabolism, lower hormones. But here's the good news. It's not too late. It's never too late. I've seen men in their 40s, 50s, even 60s rebuild physiques they never had in their 20s. But they all had one thing in common. They stopped making excuses and they started making moves. You might feel tired right now, broken, weak. Maybe your back hurts in the morning. Maybe you've lost that fire in your eyes. I've been there, and I'm telling you, the second you take back control of your body, everything changes. Your confidence, your relationships, your business, your entire life. The man you were meant to be is still in there, but you've got to fight for him, because no one else will. So here's your choice. You can close this video, scroll to the next distraction, and go back to the same life, same body, same excuses. Or you can decide that today is the way you start, not Monday, not January 1st, today. And if you need the blueprint, I just gave it to you. If you want a guide, I'm right here. But the reps, the meals, the discipline, that's on you. If this hit you, subscribe right now. Share this with the man who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to stop wasting time and start building your best body after 40, hit the link in the description. Download my free guide or jump straight into Rebuild 40. Because a year from now, you could be in the best shape of your life. Or you could be exactly where you are right now, but older, weaker, and full of regret. The choice is yours. Make it count.